All right, now that we have that, let's go ahead and bring back our reference. Let's show last hidden. There we go. Make that live again. Make sure this is sitting on top here. And turn on my transparency. All right, so now that we have this, let's start articulating a few things. So I want these feathers here to be articulated. Shift right click, insert edge loop. And you know what? I'm not crazy about what's happening here, so I'm going to step back here. I'm not going to quad that out. I'm not going to complete that right now, because I want to decide what I want to do with that. So these will flow just fine. Once again. There we go. And you know, you can keep it a simple shape like I just had. You know, it doesn't have to be as complex as this. I'm just sort of doing this to kind of do it out to the nines a little bit. You know, to do it further out into the nines and really make something, you know, very, very articulate. I'm not going to express every feather here, but I'm going to get some key areas. You would want to construct each feather, as I was mentioning in that script that I'm going to try and modify for 2015. All right, so from here, I'm going to take a few of these edges. I'm not going to do every edge, but I'll do every other edge to start. And let's go edit mesh, edge extrude. And let's see if this will do it for us. There we go. Looks like it grabbed two edges really close to each other, so let's undo that. Now let's do our edge extrude. There we go. Scale that down. And I think with these wings, I'm definitely going to be increasing my poly count. I'd say it's 78 right now. I'll probably end up having at least double that by the time I'm done with the planar surface. And then when I actually give this a little bit of volume, I'm going to have even more. So there's two ways that we'll be able to bring these feathers into our model. It'll be as a separate mesh object that is planar, or we can give it thickness and append it into our existing geometry. Obviously, one involves a lot more heavy lifting. So let's continue down here. I have to deal with that spacing. I might need an additional edge loop there. In fact, I'm just going to do it. All right. Yeah, a bat wing is going to work in a similar way, except that you won't have this sort of articulation. It would be more of this structure. The important part is to account for the compression that needs to happen in that area. Does this shed some light on the process of creating a wing for you? Do you guys have any questions about where this is going? Oh, thank you, Christian. And the one thing I want to keep in mind with each one of these, and I want to make sure that I'm not completely blowing the bank on my poly count on these, is that each one of these will need to function very similarly to a finger, right? It'd be much like our fingers. Let's see if I can bring that in. There we go. Oops, got two together there. There we go. I think these little guys out here aren't going to need that much geometry. I'm looking more at the ones that are coming out here that I want to add a little bit of something extra in there. So there's some nice flex in there. These guys are really just to help break the silhouette. All right, now let's go in here. Here. And let's edge extrude. There we go. Let's just do this, pull them in like that. Make these guys all relatively even. Got our one straggler here. All right, from here, I'm going to go ahead and go to the quad draw. I'm going to drop an additional edge loop here to get a flex in the feathers there. I'm going to drop in an edge loop here to get flex in the feathers there. And then let's just do one edge loop. If you want smoother motion in these feathers, you'll want an additional edge loop. All right, so we're at 150, so we're going to be adding right now, just this alone is 300, 600 polys are going to be adding into our model. So I'm always trying to keep track of how much geometry I'm working with. Mesh tools, append poly. Now let's tackle this area. I really just need to find a resolution here. And I think that's it. Go. This guy I'm not going to worry about. If I did want to do something with that, I would just do an extrusion out here, but I'm going to leave that alone because I probably won't see that inside of our model. I'm just choosing not to express it. All right, then from here, let's go ahead and see our body model. Oh, there it is. So there's our body model. Let's take a look at, I want to take a look at our edges here. And I'm going to do a little counting. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and see if we're in the same ballpark. 18 is where we're at there. go ahead and take a look here. Do some counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So it looks like we've lucked out there. I was going to show you how to reduce geo the edges, and the basics of reducing geo in the edges here. When you have like heavy topology moving into light topology, or light topology moving into heavy topology, you want to do this. Let me delete history and save, and then I'll show you. All right. So let's go ahead and go to Mesh Tools, and let's go Merge Vertex Tool. So what you want to do is, let's say we have more less connecting edges in the piece we want to append into. You want to take your verts and take 3 edges, collapse them down like that, which will result in 2 tries being right here and here. Go to edge and just delete that edge, right? And now we're taking 3 edges and turning them into 1. Right, so that's the way you would reduce your geometry going in from a heavier piece that you need to bring in. That's the method to use. But I got lucky, and I don't need to do that. So now let's take this, and I'm not so worried about sort of the roundness that I'll want eventually in the wing. When I bring in the ZBrush, I'll do that inside of ZBrush. What I'm thinking about now is, do I want this to be a planar piece? And let's go to our Make Live and turn that off. I'm going to hide this, so we're left with this. So do I want this to be planar, or do I want it to have thickness? And that's the question, right? I like the silhouette. Silhouette looks good. How well do I want to articulate this? I don't know. So let's go with, let's say we want to have thickness. And if you have thickness, you can append it into your existing piece. If it's planar, you're going to keep it as a separate piece. You're not going to append it into geometry. You can't, it's not wise to join an edge or weld an edge from a planar piece into a piece that has thickness. It can cause a lot of issues inside of ZBrush. ZBrush won't accept it. It'll just see it as a separate piece, and it'll come unwelded. But it's generally sort of bad form to do that. So I'm going to give this thickness, edit mesh, and extrude. And let's just pull this up, not scale it up. There we go. And I'm just barely going to give it thickness. I just want to have a little bit of thickness there.